Today we're taking a look at a note-taking application that looks very much like Notion but functions like a PKM tool. We're looking at a software called Capacities, which is becoming well known on the market and is becoming a favourite of many people. I'm going to start with where to download it from. And the best thing is this app is fairly widely available. It's available on desktop, on Mac and Windows, and including Linux as well, and has an iOS and Android app too. Now they also have in the Believer plan at the moment a tablet version as well, which I believe works on iPad and Android tablets, which is only accessible for premium users. And talking of premium, this application comes at a fairly reasonable price. On screen now will be the pricing, and you can see that the access to free gives you unlimited blocks and areas, but the access to the paid gives you more specific features like task actions, the ability to import your calendar, and also AI assistant. So a fairly reasonable pricing and free access for beginners. And one of the things I particularly like about this application is it updates fairly regularly. So it has a what's new page that always seems to be updated within the month, which is great news for those who want a constantly updated app. And they are adding more to their team as well in the background. Today's video is kindly sponsored by Sensama. If you're interested in them, you can find them linked below. So I think our first port of call is to talk about the features of Capacities. And the best thing about this app is it's organized through something called objects. Objects help you to structure your account and you can build out your notes from them. So for example, you're taking books on Note. Well, you can create a book object and then build the notes out from there. But then that helps you with lots of other things like linking and creating relationships between, say, the book and who recommended it to you, or what meeting it got brought up in for you to log for later. And you can start to see in the graph view a connection between these notes and how they interact with each other. Now the objects actually help with a lot more of the application, like the AI assistant for example, where you can preload an object into an AI chat and then continue the conversation. And this is really helpful if you're, for example, trying to recommend a birthday present for somebody and you want to be able to connect to a person that you regularly communicate with or that you have meetings with, and it might suggest something that they may like based on things that they know about them in that profile. The second feature I want to point your eyes to is something called the calendar mode. And this is a calendar mode that is a little bit like daily notes. So you can start writing away here, linking stuff, and it will also show you any notes or objects that were created that day as well. You can skip in advance and you can even plan things as well. So if you want to use the task management elements in there, like the ability to create checkboxes and tasks, then you can for future dates, meaning you can use this as almost like a light note taker / journal / task app to help see what you're working on, and each of those notes will appear in your daily notes area. So the other element that is good about Capacities is design is really sleek. It looks very much like apps like Notion, and it works in a very functional way as well, and it's really easy to use. You can also use a relatively new feature as part of the AI assistant, which automatically tags your page for you, helping to provide some context that you may be able to add and pull together without your hands being involved as you're note taking. Today's video is sponsored by Sensama. There are 3 features that I wanted to zoom in for you. The first of those is guided planning, a great way to keep your day on track and plan your week ahead. The second feature is powerful Zapier integrations, allowing you to capture tasks from over 7,000 applications so you never miss a beat. And the third feature is in a seamless way to unify your daily view and reclaim your productivity during the day. So you can try Sensama below for free for 14 days. Thanks to Sensama for sponsoring this video. This application does have Markdown. A lot of people like that, and the writing experience is really easy to use, with a / command allowing you to access other abilities, connect to other notes, and do anything like block references. Block references. One thing that you can do is if you've got a series of objects or certain keywords or tags, you can create things called queries, which are essentially database views of those particular filters and sorting that you've set up. And that's helpful for more advanced users to be able to set them up and build them out. Since my last update, they've actually made some changes to offline mode and making it fully offline. And people do really like this because a lot of the PKM apps have this offline functionality, and Capacities now has this now as part of any of the pricing plan. So I think let's zoom in on the premium features, and I think these features are much more designed for the busy professional, maybe one that uses Capacity for their notes for work, but want to be able to extend that. And the first of those features is the AI chat. I mentioned this earlier, every time you create an AI chat, you can bring in an object, but you don't have to. There are some limitations to the AI chat, meaning you can hit some limits quite fast. However, you can install your own API key from OpenAI, which may be a helpful way around that. The second thing that you can do as part of this premium is something called Calendar, and you can bring in Calendar from Google Calendar, which is a helpful way to see events and create meeting notes on events as well, which is something that a lot of other note-taking apps do as part of their daily notes. The third thing is something called task actions. You can turn anything in Capacities into a task. At the moment, I see a couple of task action integrations like Things 3 and Todoist, but there are more on the horizon as well, making it more seamless to add a task that may be brought into your system for the day. So let's look at the pros. I think the first one is quite clearly the design. The design is really flawless, clean and simple, and it works very fast as well. Having it accessible in offline mode makes it even better, but it's just a fast application at its core. Using things like the graph mode is really easy. The second thing I like about Capacities is the fact that the objects structure your account. For some people it might not work, but in terms of the ability to create them and build out, and the third thing I like about this is expanding into more consolidation. Bringing in the tasks and calendar element is a great way to extend how a user will use this. If you're a busy professional, somebody that brings in stuff from calendar and tasks, you will like these features. Some of the cons of this application go back to the concept. If you're somebody that doesn't like to structure their account using objects or doesn't want that hassle in there, then this may not be suitable for you. Each of the objects can be built out using a studio, which may require additional time and templates. So if you're not that type of person, you may not find that helpful. The second thing that I think that people might not like about this app is the queries. They don't work like, say, a traditional database like you would see in Anytype or Notion. They're sort of like a advanced version of search, which can be helpful, and Save Search is very, very beneficial for narrowing down your options. And the views are very attractive, but in my opinion, if you're looking for a like-for-like alternative, then you probably got your wrong bet in Capacities, because this one acts in similar ways but doesn't have all of the grandiose database functionality. So looking over at Capacities is probably best if you're a note taker that likes a gorgeous design, really functional experience, and a balance between PKM and traditional note taking. This app is really good for daily notes, for organizing the structure of account and building those relationships whilst keeping it all simple. It's good, it's fast, it's easy, and in my opinion will work for a lot of users who want a simple, good-looking note-taking app. So that was my review of Capacities. If you want to check it out, you can find a link below. A big thanks to Sensama for sponsoring this video, and I look forward to helping you find the best note-taking apps. So if you're still hunting for them, go over to toolfinder.xyz and you'll find loads more. And if you need a guide to note-taking apps and just a general insight, then you can download our option below. Thanks so much for stopping by, and I'll see you all very soon. Cheerio!